Driven Docs. It is such an honor to be with you on a beautiful Friday. I hope you're ready to buckle up and dive into AI and healthcare and all things that are changing in our world. I don't know about you, but it seems like literally every day a new tool comes out, a new possibility is exposed. And in this world, we are driven docs, right? We're not drifters. We're not ones to just be shiny object syndrome. This is looking for real tools, real growth. And that is what I'm bringing with you today. And as we've been working with doctors all around the world, implementing AI processes into their practice, we have seen a lot of mistakes. And so I'm going to walk you through this framework today of the seven biggest mistakes that chiros are making in implementing AI and also show you how to do it right. So this isn't just you know, uh, do it wrong process. I'm actually going to give you things that you can walk away with today and immediately start using AI in your practice to make more money. But it's not just making more money, right? It's about chasing results. And what I mean by that is the better patient results that you get with your practice, the bigger impact you have in your community. I mean, that's why we all got into this. In fact, I would love to know from those of you attending where you're coming in from. Do you guys just mind dropping in the chat what state or country or province, for all you Canadians out there? What, where are you coming in from? I would love to know just this community. It's such an honor to see some of you. I recognize some of your faces. Dr. Rob, great to see you with that beard. You're looking pretty manly these days, my friend, coming to us from Alaska, so the beard fits perfectly. Oh my gosh, what a rock star, dude. I have missed you. And Dr. Bruce, great to see you. Dr. Keith, welcome. Dr. Sexton, welcome. Hey, turn on your cameras. I'm just going to be flat out with you. I perform better when there's an audience rather than black screens. I can give more when I know you're receiving more. So would love that if you guys wouldn't mind just turn on your cameras so that we can engage a little bit. I am watching the chat. So if there's questions, please feel free to drop that in there. Dr. Steve, welcome back. Great to see you again. Great to see you, Anita. Great to see you, Gabe. So we've got Doctor coming in from the Netherlands. Welcome. We've got Iowa. We've got Utah. We've got Alberta. We've got Indiana. We've got California. Incredible, incredible, guys. So good to have you guys all here. I don't want to waste your time. I want to dive right into this. But again, I want to make sure that you guys are walking away with incredible value. So if you stay to the end, I have an amazing gift for you that is some technology that I've been building that I'm literally going to give to you for free for just showing up today. But you have to still be on the call. We're going to drop it in the chat and then it's going to go away. It's not going to be emailed out. It's going to only be for those of you that showed up live today to reward you. You can take this technology and immediately start using it. You can play with it over this weekend. You'll be able to build stuff. You'll be able to discover stuff. It's some incredible tools. So we will drop that for you at the end of the presentation today. So stick around. It's going to be lights out, incredible. Today, what we're going to dive into, seven biggest mistakes, but also going into what we call the AI org chart. I'm going to show you some really, really cool things that are happening, what's possible with AI now. What's amazing is how fast things are evolving. So what's possible today, you better believe that even next week, my next masterclass, whenever, as these come out, stay tuned. If you're not following my social media channels, please make sure you click those links. In fact, Anita, if you want to drop those in the chat just to make sure everybody has those, we're talking AI almost daily. So please, please make sure. Those of you that have used Blue IQ or are currently using Blue IQ, that's my first technology company. We're up to now 4 companies that we are now running, operating, and serving the chiropractic profession. So with Blue IQ, we are already creating integrations. We're working on go high level integrations. We're working on Cloud integrations, right? There's things that we're going to be bringing to you that is going to unlock your data in ways that is going to be incredible. As you guys know, we're healthcare, so HIPAA compliant is always at the first and foremost front. We have to be careful about any chance of data breaches and protect you in your practice. So just know that we're a little slower to bring some of those tools to Blue IQ because we don't want to ever put you at jeopardy. So, with that, we're still creating unbelievable things that will be coming your way as we test those and make sure that they're bulletproof. We're going to show you a little bit of what a practice operating system is and how AI is playing into that. And then we're actually going to give you next steps. Like, how can you adopt AI faster in your practice? Because the results are in, guys. It's absolutely unbelievable. Dr. Scott took action on some of the things I'm going to share with you today. And when his practices was averaging 19, 20, $25,000 months, sometimes that feels a little frustrating. It feels like, why am I not impacting more patients in my community? Why are not more new patients scheduling? Why aren't patients staying longer to go through my protocols? Well, Dr. Scott put in the operating system. He realized that he was actually being the bottleneck and he needed to get out of the way and empower his team. And by doing the process I'm going to show you today, check that out. $109,000 a month. That wasn't even his record. He had a bigger month a few months before that with these tools. So these things work. I'm not just on here talking philosophy. I'm going to give you both strategy and tactics, right? Because strategy without tactics, it's a lot of really good information and direction, but you really need tactics. You need to know what you can do to actually take action. And that's what we're here to do today. In fact, if you guys wouldn't mind putting in the chat, what is your biggest takeaway that you would love to walk away with today from this presentation about AI in healthcare? What would you like to be able to understand or implement? Because if you share that with me in the chat, I can make sure I get into some of those questions and make sure that I give you some of those takeaways. I've got a framework that I'm going to go through today, but I'm all about getting very specific for you as we go into some of these tools. So please just drop in the chat anything that you would like to take away today so I can show you how did Dr. Scott go from $20,000 months to over $100,000 months? Like that doesn't just happen by accident. That happens intentionally. And to show you it's not just an accident, here's Dr. Ashley out of the Midwest. Dr. Ashley actually learned these exact systems. She scaled her first location. She purchased her second location that was averaging between nine and $13,000 months, right? Nine and $13,000 months. And with that, she took these skill sets and applied them to the practice that she purchased. And look what happened to that practice after she applied this exact frameworks. She absolutely crushed it. And just last month, hit $85,000. That's now a $1 million practice. Well, here's what's unbelievable what Ashley shared. She said, Cory, we paid for the purchase price of the practice on a Tuesday's collections. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine purchasing a practice and in one day recouping what you purchased and everything after that is profits? Will you just drop in the chat, way to go, Ashley? Just put in the chat, man. Way to go, Ashley. That is a driven doc. That's the difference between drifting and driven. You see, drifting is when you're just always saying, it must be my area, right? It must be where I live. People just aren't as excited or interested around chiropractic in my area. Well, this is proof, you guys. This is a practice that was underneath a business operation from a drifting dock, and that practice, same location, same building, same patient database, look at the profits that were unlocked. And so I just want to ask you, if you had the right tools and the right tactics, how much money is sitting unlocked in your practice? I did a cash flow blueprint with a doctor just 2 days ago. And by the numbers he shared with me, I was able to analyze his data and identify he was sitting on a $550,000 cash pile sitting waiting to be unlocked that he just didn't know how to access. How would you like an additional $500,000 in collections next year just because you applied some of these strategies and tactics that I'm going to share with you today? Would that be a decent win for you walking away from this next 45 minutes? Because if it is, I want you to drop in the chat, unlock my cash. Put in the chat, unlock my cash, because driven docs are here to take action. Money loves speed. So you have to take action. I can't just share with you these tools and tactics today and you sit back and think, oh, that was a nice webinar. I'm doing this for free for you because I want you to go to your practice and unlock your cash. It's your cash. Do you realize that the patients are going to go spend it somewhere? They're going to go spend it at the medical doctor. They're going to go spend it at the physical therapist. They're going to go spend it on peptides. They're going to go spend it somewhere. Do you realize that that's your cash? And it should go in your pocket because I truly believe that you have the answers for these patients, that your protocols are the best protocols. And when you actually see what we're building to help you track these protocols and track patient outcomes, it's going to blow your mind. What we're trying to accomplish for our profession, my mission, my vision is to unlock through AI the proof of what you do is the best healthcare system in our world that we live in. If you agree with that, just give me a thumbs up in the chat. Just give me a little thumbs up if you agree with that. That way I know you're in the right place because giddy up, here we go. You see, for most of you on this call, the problem isn't effort, it's your systems. You're researching AI, you're playing with AI, you just don't have an AI system yet. A lot of you are putting on 60-hour weeks, and that may not be all patient care, but you're working on the business after hours. You're trying to test AI tools after hours and on weekends. I know because I'm doing it as well. I'm diving into AI tools. I have put in literally over 600 hours. Dr. Ryan, you're awesome. He types thumbs up because he couldn't find the thumb up button, dude. That's amazing. Great job. Thank you for participating. But I have put in so many hours so that you don't have to. I'm just going to filter it all and give it to you. But what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to have what most of these doctors are struggling with, which is $40,000 revenue leaks, money just walking out the door because you're not utilizing it properly. And I want you to realize that, there's these 90-day check-ins that you should be participating in that help you identify your revenue leaks regularly. That used to take somebody like me in real time to look at your data, and we now have built AI tools to do it for you. It's incredible. And what I've discovered is that for most of you, your problem is not that you don't have enough new patients. The problem is that you don't necessarily have the wrong team or the wrong marketing. It really comes down to the systems and having this AI system. So here we go. Here are the 7 big mistakes. You ready to write these down? I want you to write these down because I really want you to understand these. Number one, too many of you are still using AI tools to chat and prompt. And there's this concept now that we are going to be helping. I'm just rolling this out to our members this year of how to build your second brain. I'm actually in the process of building my second brain right now. It's insane. And I'm going to walk you through why that's so important and why that actually sets the tone for everything that you're going to do with AI. Because too many of you have noticed that when you take a week off or you go on vacation, what happens to your practice? It stops making money, right? And if that's happening, that means you've built yourself a job. Now, it's a high paying job and you have the best boss in the world, yourself, but it's not a business. And this is why a second brain becomes important because by building a second brain, we now have a system that can be built to support your team even when you're not there. You see, if you have to be the one that makes every decision runs through you, then guess what? You're the bottleneck. This is the problem. You're the bottleneck. And if you're the bottleneck, this means that you don't have a system. You are the system. If that makes sense to you, will you put in the chat, I don't want to be the system anymore? Just drop in the chat for me. I don't want to be the system anymore because I found myself in this position. I found myself with a very full patient schedule, and we had to create a system in the practice for how to ask me questions. This is how bad I was at building systems back then. That they couldn't just come up and ask me during patients, they had to put it on a sticky note. And if I could answer it right, then I would answer it. But if I couldn't, I would invite them to come back later. And that was the problem, is that I had to make every decision. So if you recognize that you're the system, you're the bottleneck, every decision has to come through you, this concept of the second brain is going to blow your mind. Because I want my team to be able to have my knowledge of the business and the systems. I just don't want them to have to come get that from me. And every system is going to derive from the second brain. And so we now have CPUs being able to answer the questions and drive engagement and speak in your voice. It makes all the difference in the world. Thank you for putting the chat. I can see most of you on this call don't want to be the system any longer. That means you're in the right place. That means you're one step closer to becoming driven and to stop drifting in practice. Mistake number two, treating AI as a tool instead of building AI systems. So, how many of you will you put in the chat for me just on a scale of 1 to 10? And let me explain the scale first, and then you can drop it in. So, if you're using like ChatGPT or Claude or different things to chat and go back and forth and ask questions and maybe write emails or write marketing copy, I would say that's probably a level 4, level 3, right? If you're starting to build or use AI agents, that would be like a 5 or 6. If you're building a second brain, that would be like a 7, 8, 9, or 10. Go ahead and drop in the chat for me. Where are you guys at right now? What are you doing with AI? Just so I understand, because if you're using like AI scribes, if you're chatting with ChatGPT, if you're using it for some marketing copy, if you're writing emails, okay. So most of you on this call are kind of at that level still. You're not starting to get into agents. You're not really getting into the concept of the second brain. So perfect. I'm going to walk you through this so that you can really take value away from here. I love it. I love the AI scribe. I love the ability to do this. I love research with AI. It's powerful, powerful stuff. But man, when we take you to the next level, you're going to unlock a whole new level with AI that's going to blow your mind. Mistake number three, failing to capture your expertise and protocols. So this is why I didn't just stop at building Blue IQ. This is why I have now built Prime Practice. You see, we needed an EHR that could begin to learn and understand your expertise and protocols. It's interesting because in the medical space right now, they are starting to absorb data from wearable devices, which I think is awesome. They're now using AI to filter and monitor based upon the condition that the patient has to trigger alerts when they need to come into the practice, when they need to change their medication, when they need a new medication. So guys, like they're already starting to use this stuff, and where are we? We have to start using these same type of tools to be able to capture your expertise. Can you imagine the knowledge that Dr. Rob has from his career? Rob, drop in the chat for me how many years you've been treating patients. Not to say you're old by any means, but 45 years of experience. That clinical experience is priceless. Can you imagine if he could pass that on to a younger generation? But that's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to capture in your AI brain is your expertise, your protocols. You should be building agents that are being fed your patient protocols so that you can start refining them. You can start owning them. In prime practice, this is what we're laying the foundation for. It's going to take some time to build, but this is the roadmap that we're on so that your protocols can live in your EHR and watch, observe, distribute feedback from your patients on their patient metrics. It's going to be incredible because as you begin to, your EHR is not going to just be some generic EHR that you can, sell off to some. It's going to be so valuable because it's going to understand your patient base. It's going to understand your protocols. It's going to understand your patient outcomes. It's going to make you smarter, faster, better. And guess what happens when you capture all of those things? You make more money, right? You actually get paid what you deserve. How incredible would that be? How incredible, Dr. Carl, would that be is if you actually were getting paid the $1 million salary that you deserve, not $1 million in collections, because you've built a system of value that is actually tracking these protocols and your expertise. Your expertise is the value. Not Carl one-on-one with patients. Carl one-on-one with patients is not the value. That's a 100,000-aire. If you want to be a 100,000-aire, then stay one-on-one treating patients. But if you want to be a multi-millionaire with a net worth of 10 of 8 figures, then you have got to build your expertise into a system that as other providers plug into it, they learn the system. They can duplicate the system. Does that make sense? Can you see the difference in that? That's what we're on the verge of being able to do with these tools. Number 4, no data ownership. This is garbage in, garbage out, guys. And I see this all the time. And this is why I can't handle Blue IQ being connected to just any EHR anymore. Because they didn't build the EHR with data infrastructure to support you in your data. The data is everything. That's where the value is. That's where the proof is in the pudding of your patient protocols. So when we're marketing, when we're able to start generating copy, it should know the pain points of your patients from the thousands of consultations that you're feeding the system. Your EHR should be your smartest marketing tool on the planet. I had a call with another doc the other day that we were doing his cash flow blueprint. And I said, hey, I noticed on your intake form here that you shared with me that you came in from one of our ads. Because a lot of people see our Facebook ads. And he said, oh my gosh, I saw your ad and it literally spoke to me. Well, when he said that our ad spoke to me, that didn't come from Cory Frogley, and it didn't come from Anita, our social media manager, and it didn't come from Melissa, our marketing director. You know where it came from? It came from our AI brain, analyzing all of these intake forms that we fed it to understand the pain points of our profession. And the reason why that ad spoke to him is because AI was able to understand it and generate the copy that spoke directly to him. How many of you, put in the chat for me, how many of you would love it if your ads were speaking so clearly to your patient's pain points that they immediately clicked on your ads and signed up for a consultation with you? Put in the chat if that would be a game changer for you. Because this is data. This is data. What I'm specifically talking about is your ability to speak directly to your patient's pain points, and that's data. That's what it is. It's not emotion. We speak with emotion, but this is the difference between AI is this cold tool to all of a sudden AI becomes a system of being able to listen and be able to feed it and be able to develop it. Because when I think of my AI brain, I don't think of, oh, I'm scared that somebody else is going to get a hold of my AI brain and duplicate Cory Frogley. Guess what? Duplicating Cory Frogley is impossible because I'm not just the AI brain. I am a human being. And when you put us together, we become amplified and, dare I say, almost a superhero. It gives us superpowers. And that's what I want you guys to be able to switch to. Data structure that your AI can feed from and generate the ability to speak directly to your patient's pain points and develop protocols that solve those pain points. How cool would that be as if you had real-time feedback, helping you adjust your protocols so that we are getting the optimal outputs? Problem number 5. I see a lot of people saying, hey, how can I replace my staff with AI? Can I get rid of some of my team? We're in a phase right now where I actually want you to switch gears. I don't want you to think so much about reducing your headcount as much as I want you to think about multiplying your headcount. You remember how I just said that my AI brain and Cory Frogley together almost produces a superhero? That's what I want you to think about with your team. My team have become a team of superheroes. We're almost like the super friends working together. And that is what I want you thinking is what tools should my team have access to in order to optimize and magnify their work? That's what I want you thinking. And I'm going to show you your AI org chart of how it works hand in glove with your team to optimize that. Mistake number 6, little to no delegation. They're utilizing, you're playing, you're researching, you're writing copy, but you're not delegating these tools. You see, you sitting up in the org chart, you are the CEO. Again, remember how I said you can become a 100,000-aire by being a chiropractor? It's really tough to become a multi-millionaire being a chiropractor when you're only treating patients one-on-one. But when you actually use your expertise and you delegate the work and you build the systems in the practice, that's where AI amplifies the team. And you are now only doing the things you can do. So where is Steve spending his time? Where's Dr. Sexton spending his time? Where's Dr. Ryan spending his time? You see, these are the tools that you've got to recognize that where you spend your time is the value driver of the company. And in my practice, I hit multiple 7 figures treating patients all day. Now, not by myself, I brought on other providers, but I was still treating patients all day. But I wasn't taking home 7 figures. I didn't take home 7 figures until I stopped doing everything myself, till I stopped actually being the bottleneck to our growth. When I moved to the value driver, that was able to build the strategies, implement the tactics with my team, but delegate the tactics. So the tools I'm going to give you today are designed to be used, but to delegate the actual action items to your team. So will you guys put in the chat, I will delegate. I will delegate because without delegation, you will just become a bigger bottleneck in your business. And that has to stop. I will delegate. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Carol. See those coming in. Let's go, Pat. Mistake number 7. This is where I was sharing with you the difference between strategy and tactics. You need tactics, but only if the strategy is correct. So the right tactics come from the right strategy. So the order is strategy first, and I'm about to show you that on the next slide. Okay. So these tactics come from the strategy. They're derived from the strategy, but too many are going to their AI chat, their favorite, learning model, and they're just trying to find the latest hack, the latest tactics that they can implement, the latest marketing hack. And that's where we end up getting stuck because disconnected tools, right? They're not communicating with each other. You understand that when I'm running 4 companies, that I need my AI system to understand all 4 companies. I can't have it disjointed. Well, in your business, whether you have multiple companies or one, multiple practices or one, you need an AI system that understands each system of practice and how each one works hand in glove and a data feedback loop. Does that make sense? A data feedback loop that allows you to feed the system to get smarter so it understands if it needs to adjust the tactics. You see, a drifting dock never feeds back the loop. A drifting dock thinks the completed cycle is when they finish the patient encounter or they finish training the team member. They never built the system for the feedback mechanism. Is everybody getting that? Because if you get that piece, the data feedback mechanism, then you understand chiropractic philosophy. Will you guys drop in the chat safety pin? Just drop in safety pin. Those of you who know what that is, know what that is. Because we talk about the safety pin inside of chiropractic. Because if your central nervous system isn't feeding back what the rest of the systems are doing or not doing, it cannot make the correction. And that is the purpose of the chiropractor, to reconnect the safety pin cycle. That is AI at its ultimate, you guys, because if your safety pin is open, there's no feedback loop. So will you guys drop in the chat for me? How many of you just put in open or closed? You have an AI system that is feeding itself back information and it's getting smarter, or you haven't created a system yet and it's open. And so you go work on ChatGPT or Claude or whatever tool you're using, and you're not ever completing the cycle to where it's learning and getting smarter and doing better. Yeah. And that's what I was afraid of. And your biggest takeaway from today is understanding this next slide. Here we go. This is the Cairo AI org chart. You should be taking screenshots of this. This should be a deep understanding of how now this whole thing works. Let me start at the top. Do you see the brain at the top? This isn't my second brain anymore. This is your second brain. Now, the beautiful thing about the systems we've built, we can actually help you with your second brain, even make it smarter, because we've now analyzed thousands of practices data. We've watched behavior patterns. I have over 16,000 hours of coaching recording that we are feeding into our systems so that the AI understands the patterns. They understand the pain points. They understand exactly what needs to be fixed. What are the levers that build the biggest things? So look on the left-hand side. An AI-driven operating system. So I built the driven operating system that many of you on this call have implemented into your practice. However, the problem is there's no feedback loop in our old system to feed your second brain, so it's getting smarter from the meetings. So every meeting should be recorded, every meeting should be scribed, and every meeting should be fed back into the second brain. But that brain has to be seasoned. It has to be structured with the right SOPs and the right operating system, which is the driven operating system. This is what I've built for you guys to be able to run your practices, but it needs feedback. So we have an AI mechanism now called the Driven Operating System AI that is already built in the right framework. It now just needs to be fed your data from your cadence of accountability. That's the morning huddle. That's the weekly team meetings. You got to make sure that as you're talking about patients, right? We have a self-contained, we don't share our data. It's following the HIPAA guidelines. So there's some settings you got to make sure you follow on that. The next one is the AI marketer. Again, this is your second agent. This is your voice. This isn't just to write ad copy. We need to feed this as much data as we can on your specific pain points. And then this is the gold nugget, guys. This is the gold nugget that I teach in my chiropractic CEO book, which is the first level of freedom, the freedom to become known. If you want freedom, financial freedom, time freedom, wealth freedom, freedom of purpose, you got to get this first one right. And that is becoming known for dot, dot, dot. So when you are known as a generalist healthcare practitioner, you'll be a thousandaire. When you become known as a specialist, you'll become a millionaire. So you need to be able to feed your AI marketer agent exactly what you want to be known for. The third one then is how do we build a caller? How do we build a AI receptionist that is able to go after the leads, able to have the conversations, able to break down the false beliefs, but also able to screen these potential leads so that they don't end up sitting in your practice unqualified. That's what an AI front desk agent should be able to do. When we look at the next AI agent in the front desk, this should be the agent that's helping all of your established patients. Okay. They know your protocols, they know your systems, they know all of these pieces that you're able to connect with your patients. And so again, with our technology, these are things that we're going to be layering into the EHR because in the phone system, and the EHR, it needs to be able to schedule, it needs to be able to communicate with the patient, it needs to know its background, it needs to know its history, it needs to know, is this an insurance case? Is this a personal injury case? Is this a neuropathy case? Is this a low back case? This is where now an AI front desk agent is a concierge hospitality, but also really make sure that patients aren't missing appointments. Your next agent is your case manager trainer, right? This is actually being able to role play and train your team so they become the best case managers on the planet. And then when you look at the AI billing system, this is now where we're working on these AI tools in prime practice to be able to layer in compliance, to look at the diagnosis codes, to look at the CPT codes, to look at the chart notes, to make sure everything matches so that when we send out those claims, they have the highest chance of being paid. It's called the compliance officer. So on your AI org chart, some of these are things you're going to create. Some of these things are things that you can buy within the ecosystem so that you have a full AI org chart so that each one of your team members are empowered. Imagine if your front desk had agents that it was supervising, that it was working with, that it was making sure that they were doing their job. You now have taken Mary at the front desk and turned her into Supergirl. That's what AI does, is it turns them into superpowers. So I want to give you just an example of this. I'm going to stop sharing this screen for just a second, and I'm going to share a different screen because I want you to hear this. I actually want you to hear one of these agents in real time at work. So let me just share this. This is just a couple minutes of a agent screening a new patient lead. Check this out.
Hello.
Hi, Jamin. How have you been?
Good.
Wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. I'm calling because you were interested in our free nerve screening. This will just take a minute. How long have you been suffering from neuropathy?
2 to 4 years.
Living with neuropathy for 2 to 4 years can be exhausting, and it makes sense that you are looking for real relief. The good news is there are natural ways that may help the nerves heal, and my role is to see whether this consultation could be a good next step for you. On a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate your nerve pain when it's at its worst?
6, 7.
Oh, wow. A 6 or 7? I can only imagine how challenging that must be. At that level, nerve pain doesn't just hurt. It starts to control your life. Damon, if your neuropathy could be relieved and your symptoms could go away, what is the number one thing you would look forward to doing again?
Walking.
I appreciate you telling me that, Damon. Imagine how different life would feel if walking were easy again. First, are you currently on Medicaid or hospice?
Neither.
Got it, thank you. That helps me understand your situation better. Our office is located in Beaver Creek, Ohio. Is that a reasonable commute for you?
So it goes on to schedule this lead. It makes sure that they're qualified, it makes sure that they have a desire to actually get better. But this is just the tip of the iceberg of what's coming. And these agents and their ability to actually change people's lives, because imagine you'd have to build an entire, call team of human callers that you're training and you're getting to work, and now we can actually hire human callers who they train with the AI callers to improve. We have front desk team member AI trainers. We have established patient AI trainers. We have case acceptance AI trainers. You see, we've built this into an ecosystem that allows you guys to just plug in. It's like plugging into a new world that gives you, well, dare I might say, superpowers. This is what the ecosystem looks like. It starts with your clinical AI operating system, and this is why I built Prime Practice. Prime Practice is now a cloud-based EHR, not just to become another tool that makes your team's lives easier at the front desk. This is a full system that allows for patient communication, email, text, automated reminders, broadcast messages. This is the opportunity to have, inventory management, to have not just AI tools to come in and help you scribe and help you with insurance compliance, but what I'm laying the foundation for, and it's where we're going, that's the important part. It's using AI to build in these agents that amplifies your team, trains your team. So a lot of these tools live outside of Prime Practice right now that we're bringing into Prime Practice as we continue to build this. So in the data-driven practice, we have AI systems for each role, the SOPs, the processes now. We have a 2-day boot camp coming up in 3, 4 weeks. It's June 19th, where it's a 2-day boot camp where we are literally training our members on how to use AI to launch their next niche and then how to build the marketing tools to fill that niche. Every single member that attends should generate 50 to $100,000 in additional revenues if they'll apply the AI tools that we're going to share with them. And that's 1 2 day boot camp coming up next month. It's incredible. And that's the driven operate. That's the data-driven practice. This is why with the data-driven practice, we now have marketing. We have full marketing agency with paid advertising and social media and internal office education. And we're layering in those AI tools to make it both affordable but extremely effective for our members. The next layer is what we call Prime Financial Partners, which is a full accounting firm now run by accountants to do your bookkeeping, led by our CPA, who can file your quarterly taxes, but more importantly, provide for you monthly financial governance. That includes CFO level reporting. So you get coaching, you get data around your financial revenue streams so that you're optimizing the way you're using your financial capital. And then, of course, the top of the pyramid is that data intelligence level with what we're doing with Blue IQ and what's coming, and that ability with real-time data between Prime Practice and Blue IQ is going to be near real time. You update an appointment over on Prime Practice, and within seconds, it's updated over on Blue IQ. We're layering in data intelligence. We're showing our members how to use the data from Blue IQ with their AI. And when you have that with your AI brain, oh my gosh, we're giving you some of my brain. We're giving you your brain. We're teaching you how to combine these brains into a whole new creature that is the ultimate growth engine for your practice. So when you look at these things, what a practice looks like when you're using the driven operating system and AI working together, your invisible data is now visible. Your org chart literally lives and works all day long. You have show rates improve within 2 months. You have specialty revenue added. You have marketing ROI that's traceable. You have team members that are amplified. You truly have one connected practice to a connected brain that is driving your system. And this is what the results look like, you guys. This is Dr. Zach out of Texas, averaging $37,000 a month. Now he's averaging $144,000 a month. That's what's possible when you implement these tools, when you understand the strategy and you implement the tactics to get there. So the question I get all the time is, how do I access it? Like, what are next steps? What are the tactics that I can immediately begin implementing? We have a brand new opportunity, and I'll give you with you 3 ways that you can plug this into your practice. And the first way is accessing Blue IQ and Prime Practice together, and then having this AI system through live weekly coaching. We made it tremendously affordable for you. It's not one-on-one coaching because I'm going to give you, again, I'm working on this, but you'll get this as part of your program. You'll actually get this as part of the AI-driven coach. This is now trained on 1,600 hours of my coaching. And it can now be yours where you can feed it data, you can feed it meeting notes, you can feed it conversations, and build your brain along with helping my brain coach you through these steps. So how do you access that program? That has a one-time payment of just $29.97, and then it's just $4.97 a month after that. And you have access to weekly group coaching. You have access to a community who is obsessed with these AI tools and helping you guys build this. The next level is more robust. This is where you can access Prime Practice and Blue IQ. This is where you can now implement the AI tools, get the entire driven operating system, get the 6 keys, which are AI powered, and have that ability to launch your next niche, whether that's neuropathy, decompression, knee niche. You get our internal office education system, which is Blue TV. You get the quarterly boot camps. That's the one coming up next month on June 19th. You get to be a part of weekly group coaching calls. And the combination between the weekly group coaching calls and the one-on-one coaching is life-changing. So you get to access this for $29.97, and then it's just $19.97 a month after that. The third level is a custom package because depending on the needs of your practice and how fast you want to go, this is now where we get to layer in marketing services, whether that's Google Ads, Meta Ads, Concierge Call Team, plus AI Caller, plus AI chatbots, social media. This is now taking your data, your niche, the pain points that we've gathered from now hundreds of thousands of dollars of ad spend to test and capture this data to be able to speak directly to your leads' pain points. That's what this is you're not just buying marketing agency services. This is marketing agency services that are learning, improving, and growing with these AI tools. So how do we access? How do we know which is the right level for you? How do we get started? Well, it all comes down to something I want to gift you. I want to give you a gift. You guys okay with that? This actually doesn't cost you anything, but is literally worth $1,000. And that's what we call a cash flow blueprint. A cash flow blueprint is where I get to access some data from you. You're going to share some numbers with me. And then you and I are going to sit down on a 30-minute call and review those numbers. We're going to talk where you're at. We're going to look at revenue gaps and revenue leaks. We're going to review your org chart. We're going to identify where we can immediately plug holes, dramatically improve revenues. So that cash flow blueprint I'm giving to you guys for free. All you have to do is click the link in the chat and book that call. And that will be with me or my team, depending on where you're at in your growth journey. Now, here's the cool thing. I've got a gift for you for anybody who does a cash flow blueprint, because this is what you're going to see. You're going to literally be given a full growth roadmap. Whether you plug into one of our AI systems or not, you're going to be given a growth roadmap that's going to show you your greatest revenue drivers. So that blueprint is something you can take with you and apply to your practice. And for anybody who completes a well, anybody that's here, we just gave you in the chat the link to my AI toolkit. Everybody gets that for showing up today. I'm giving you my AI toolkit. That includes my practice profit GPT that you can feed it, and it will help you start to implement some of these tools. You're going to get my 7 secret profit levers powered by AI in your practice, and you're going to get my AI reactivation script generator that you can use to build the best scripts to start with your email campaigns, your phone scripts, to empower your team to immediately start generating revenues in your practice. I want every one of you next week to start making more cash. Okay? That means you're helping more people. But for those of you that actually complete a cash flow blueprint with me, we've given you the ability to download my new book, The Chiropractic CEO. But if you actually complete the cash flow blueprint, and I only have room for 5 of these for me to personally do these, you're going to get my AI CEO coach. This is the companionship coach that goes through with the book. So in the book, you're going to be putting prompts into this AI coach that's specific to you, your data, your numbers, your content, your conversations. And it's going to coach you literally through this to help you unlock and discover your revenue leaks. It's incredible. It's $1,000 value. You get that for free for just completing um, the cash flow blueprint. A 30-minute call that's going to blow your mind anyway. So, docs, this is the moment to decide. Do I stay a drifting doc that stays at a level 3, 4 in my interactions with AI? Do I get left behind as the profession and as healthcare accelerates like crazy? Because AI is not going to replace you. But I do warn you that doctors using AI are going to be running faster than you. I want you to have the same superpowers that I'm getting from AI, and I want to gift them to you. I want to give them to you through these programs because they're not a cost. They're an investment that you pay once and you reap the rewards on for years to come. Every doctor on this call has a decision to fundamentally change the way you're practicing from the old way to the new way. I don't want you stuck in the old way because that gets really old. It's time to be a part of a community that is leading healthcare. And I believe that's who we are as a community. We're going to lead healthcare through our data. It's not about a busier practice, right? It's not about a more stressful practice. It's about a practice where you're not the operating system anymore. You've installed the AI-driven operating system. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for desiring to level up your skill sets. I hope these tools and this understanding you can take away and begin implementing immediately. Again, the links are in the chat. I'm going to stick around for a few minutes for a few Q&A. Feel free to drop a question in the chat or simply unmute and ask some questions. But I would love a little discussion back and forth on what you learned today, what's been your biggest takeaway, what can you guys start doing. So one of the questions that Steve brought in, he says, does any of these programs include high-level software as part of the software stack? 100%. Yes, Steve. In fact, because of the AI tools that are happening in Go High Level, we are now using a lot of those AI tools, and we are working right now today on my Blue IQ team, working with high-level integrations. We have an unbelievable development roadmap that's going to unlock incredible patient tools that are going to blow your mind. Eventually, that will also integrate with prime practice. It's going to be incredible. So, yeah, great question. What else? What other questions can I answer for you guys as part of this presentation today?
What would someone get out of the cash flow blueprint that they couldn't find anywhere else? What would make it incredibly valuable for them to be able to attend and have that growth roadmap?
Yeah, that's awesome. When we send it to you, imagine you sitting down with a patient doing a consultation. You know how you read the patient intake form, you see their health history, you understand their health goals. And because you've done, dare I say, Pat, how many would you guess consultations you've done in your practice? I mean, 10,000. I mean, it's a lot, right?
A whole
You
lot.
quickly see those patterns in your patients. And that's the beauty of me and my team. We've done so many of these that we can see your patterns very quickly. And because we do run an analysis through our AI learning system, we actually know we have prepared for you some incredible insights. And so, just trying to chat on that with ChatGPT, it doesn't understand the context of our profession. It doesn't understand what it's like working in a healthcare practice. It hasn't coached thousands of chiropractors. It hasn't run hundreds of thousands of dollars of ads. It hasn't, had that data yet. I mean, if you had my AI second brain, maybe, but in 30 minutes, you're going to walk away with a beautiful roadmap of knowing exactly where you're stuck and exactly how you can get unstuck. Great question.
What are some of the stats or information that they can prepare for that cash flow blueprint to really be able to make it as valuable as possible?
Yeah, I want to understand where you've been. Like, what have you done in the past, either with the AI tools or other coaching programs? What worked? and what didn't work, because I don't want to duplicate anything that you've already tried that failed. We need to bring something new for you that is going to solve the current state. And with the new tools, right? It's the old way of thinking that keeps people stuck. We've got to sometimes level up your psychology. So I'm looking as much at your psychology as I am your systems. And sometimes it's a psychological breakthrough that we need to have for you to break through this next level. So, seeing your numbers, answering the questions that you're going to provide for us, those questions we ask are not just random. We actually worked with AI. We worked with Claude and looking at what's the data that I need to be able to review to give the best impact and analyze your profit levers in your practice rapidly. So you got to fill out the form. If you don't get me the form, I can't give you the kind of data. It's going to be more of a conversation and it's not going to be as insightful. But if you'll fill out the form prior to showing up to that appointment, oh my gosh, the insights I can give you are unbelievable. Awesome. The form comes when you fill out the cash flow blueprint. It's going to have, sorry, it's not even a form anymore. It's a questionnaire. It's an intake, so to speak. Just like with prime practice, we have online forms. When you go through and book your cash flow blueprint, it's going to have some questions. You're going to answer those questions, and that's going to submit that to me and my team. And we'll be able to review that for you so that we'll be ready for you. Beautiful. I love it. Yep, if you're already booked, make sure you have those questions answered. If you show up without that done, it's not going to be as insightful. It'll still be good. It just won't be as insightful. I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited for you to learn how to build your second brains. I'm so excited to be able to roll out to those of you in our programs, my second brain. And as we build these AI tools for you in both the EHR and Blue IQ and the marketing services. Oh my gosh, we are moving into a new millennia of healthcare. And I just don't want to see you guys left behind. I want to take you with me in leading this profession, showing the world that we have the best healthcare system on the planet. If you agree with me, like and follow our channels, be a part of this, refer your friends. If you know people who have podcasts or other events, speaking opportunities, I would love to be a part of those. If you make an introduction, there could be some reward in that for you. Lots of opportunities to be involved in this movement of becoming driven docs. Thanks again for being here. Have a phenomenal weekend. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for loving this profession as much as I do. It's an honor being and serving in this profession and serving our patients. God bless. Stay driven.